Welcome to the AI Literacy Podcast. Today we have another important topic to discuss. That is why AI literacy matters globally, and what's at stake if we ignore it. You know, it's easy sometimes to think of AI, artificial intelligence, as this abstract thing, maybe stuck in labs in Silicon Valley, or just code running somewhere. But our deep dive today, looking at the sources, it paints a really different picture. It shows AI is already woven right into, well, the fabric of daily life.
Globally.
Yeah.
Often in ways we don't even notice. Have you ever actually stopped to think about how AI pops up in your day, maybe without you consciously realizing it? Let's sort of walk through a day like our sources suggested. Imagine a teenage girl, maybe in rural Kenya, just scrolling TikTok. That feed, it's curated by an algorithm, nudging her based on what she watches, what she likes.
Exactly. Or picture a kid in Brazil, a middle schooler maybe, using Google for homework, or talking to a voice assistant. The AI behind that, it's pointing him towards certain answers, certain info.
Right, or a college student in Finland. She gets scholarship tips. AI sorted through tons of data to suggest those. And it's not just students. Think about someone in India applying for a job. An AI system might be the first one to read their application. It could filter them out before a person even sees it.
It's incredible how universal that is, isn't it? Despite being all over the world.
Totally. AI doesn't care about borders, doesn't ask permission.
And it's definitely not just for Silicon Valley anymore. Our sources really hammer this home. AI belongs to all of us.
That's the core message, yeah.
Understanding that, that's really our starting point today. Okay, let's unpack this. So, just how deeply is AI already shaping lives? Students, adults, everyone.
Oh, profoundly. When you dig into the research, it's quite striking. It's not just about what pops up on your internet feed, though that's huge. It goes way beyond that. It affects how people learn, definitely how they work, and like you said, even how they feel about themselves, their place in the world.
So those examples we mentioned, scholarships, news stories going viral.
Precisely. AI isn't just sitting there. It's actively, shaping opportunities. It shapes perspectives. It controls the flow of information, really. And this power, it's got this dual potential. It's like a strong current.
Dual potential? How so?
Well, think about it. It could help close gaps, right? Give more people access, level the playing field. That's one possibility. Or, and this is the risk, if we're not careful, it could actually make those gaps wider, create new kinds of inequality. UNESCO's work, for instance, talks a lot about AI's potential for good in education. Personalized learning for kids in remote areas, AI tutors adapting to different speeds.
That sounds amazing, overcoming teacher shortages and things like that.
It could be amazing.
Right.
But, and this is the big but in the research, that positive stuff only happens if we guide it carefully, if we're intentional. One source used a great analogy. AI is like fire.
Fire, okay.
Used properly, it cooks your food, keeps you warm, powers industry.
Right.
Essential. But handle it badly, or if you don't understand it, it burns down the house. It all depends on who's holding the match, basically, and whether they know what they're doing.
That fire analogy, wow, that really hits home. It makes it so clear. And it leads us to something maybe a bit sobering, but really crucial. If AI has that kind of power, that potential for harm, what happens if we just, try to ignore it, pretend it's not there?
Yeah, that's the critical question.
Here's where it gets really interesting, maybe a bit stark. The sources are blunt. Avoiding AI or just not teaching about it, that doesn't make you safe.
No, quite the opposite.
It makes you unprepared, dangerously so.
Exactly, and this isn't some far-off future problem. The research shows real consequences happening now, all over the world, to people who lack AI literacy. Think about students. We're seeing it constantly. Kids using chatbots for essays, homework.
Yeah, you hear about that.
But they don't have the skills to tell fact from, chatbot fiction. They can end up just repeating misinformation because they trust the AI output too much. They haven't learned to question it.
That's a huge problem for critical thinking.
It is. Or look at job seekers. AI systems are often the first hurdle now. Filtering resumes.
Right, the gatekeepers.
And the criteria they use. Not always clear. Sometimes you get rejected, and you have no idea why. Imagine the impact on someone's career, their confidence.
It's like decisions are being made in a black box, an invisible hand almost.
Precisely. And it scales up. It affects whole communities. The research points to algorithms, sometimes unintentionally, amplifying existing biases. In policing, maybe. Predicting crime hotspots based on old biased data.
Oh, wow.
Or in lending, people being denied credit based on patterns an AI found, which might not actually be fair or relevant.
So it's not just individual mishaps, it can become systemic.
That's the risk, yes. Systemic issues cropping up because we as a society, haven't developed widespread AI literacy fast enough.
And the job market stuff. Honestly, it's staggering. We looked at the World Economic Forum data for this.
Yeah, those numbers are stark.
Nearly 40% of all job skills are expected to change just in the next few years because of AI and automation.
40%?
It's massive. And the sources stress this isn't just for coders or data scientists. This is for everyone.
Everyone.
Teachers, nurses, farmers, artists, you name it. Teachers using AI for lesson plans, maybe.
Yeah.
Nurses seeing AI analyze patient data. Farmers using it for crops. Artists using AI tools.
It touches everything.
So we're not just preparing students for like a standardized test anymore, are we?
Not at all.
We're trying to prepare them for a world that changes faster than any textbook, any curriculum ever could.
It definitely feels like trying to hit a moving target, a really fast-moving target.
It does. The challenge is huge, but, and this is where it gets exciting again, there's an upside, a massive opportunity.
Absolutely. Amidst all the challenges, there's this incredible potential for empowerment.
Yes. And that's the good news shining through in the research, isn't it? When people, students, teachers, workers actually start to understand AI, they gain something really powerful. Agency. They stop being just passive users.
Right. They become active shapers.
Yeah.
Or at least active participants.
So how does that agency, like, show up practically?
Well, connecting it to the bigger picture, it changes how you interact with everything digital. You stop just blindly trusting, say, the first Google result or a recommendation. You start asking better questions, more critical questions. Okay, how did this AI come up with this? What data was it fed? Whose viewpoint might be missing here?
You develop a kind of critical lens for AI.
Exactly. Discernment. You learn to spot when a tool is genuinely useful versus when it might be biased or even subtly harmful or misleading. You become a smarter digital citizen.
And this is actually happening now, people making that shift.
Oh yeah. What's really inspiring from the research is seeing this unfold globally, not just in the usual tech hubs.
Can you give some examples? What does it look like on the ground?
Sure. The sources highlight some amazing things. Like in Lebanon, you have students using AI translation tools, not just for themselves, but to help teach refugee kids. Using AI to bridge language gaps in this really human, impactful way.
Wow, that's powerful.
Or think about India. Educators in remote villages experimenting with AI lesson planners, using AI to bring tailored learning to kids who might otherwise miss out.
Using the tech to increase access.
Exactly. Then you look at Finland, they're often ahead on education stuff. They're actually teaching young kids how to spot bias in search results, fostering that critical thinking early.
That's fundamental.
And in South Korea, teachers aren't just using AI tools. They're learning to create their own simple AI-powered quizzes, personalizing learning themselves.
So it's not just passive use, it's active creation too.
Right. These aren't just, one-off stories. They show a pattern, a realization spreading everywhere. It's not about one country figuring it out. It's about all of us seeing that AI literacy. It's not optional anymore.
It's becoming universal, foundational.
Like reading or writing was centuries ago. It's that fundamental shift.
Which brings us right to a really critical point, one that sometimes gets lost when we just talk about the tech itself. Equity. And this idea of a second digital divide.
Yeah, this raises a really important question, doesn't it? Because AI might be spreading everywhere, but access to understanding it, that's not spreading equally at all.
We talk about the first digital divide, who has internet, who has devices.
Right, and that's still a massive issue. UNESCO says more than half the world is still offline. Huge barrier.
But now there's this other layer.
Exactly. Even for people online, a new gap is opening up, this second digital divide. It's not about owning a smartphone. It's about having the skills, the critical thinking, to actually engage with the AI on that phone, to understand what it's doing.
So you risk a world where some people design and control AI.
And benefit massively from it, yeah.
While everyone else is just sort of shaped by it, living in a world designed for them, maybe, but not with them.
That's the danger. And the research is pretty clear. That's not fair.
Right.
Honestly, it's not sustainable for a connected world.
So, okay, that's the situation. This growing divide, the need for understanding. What does this all mean? What can we actually do?
Well, the path forward, according to the sources, it's challenging, definitely, but it's also pretty clear. We need to teach AI literacy like we teach reading.
Step by step?
Step by step, patiently, clearly, with compassion, even. It needs to be woven into education early on, not as some special tech subject, but as a core skill. like Digital Citizenship Plus.
And making sure everyone gets it.
Absolutely crucial. Ensuring no student, no teacher, no classroom gets left behind. Doesn't matter where they are, what language they speak, their economic background. It has to be foundational for everyone.
And it's not just schools, right? The
Yeah.
sources talk about shared responsibility.
Oh, completely. It's too big for any one group. It takes governments setting national strategies, prioritizing this.
Schools, obviously, on the front lines, changing how they teach.
Tech companies, too. They have a huge role. Thinking about the impact of their products, making tools accessible, maybe supporting education efforts.
And parents.
Parents, absolutely. Guiding kids through this digital world. It really is an all-hands-on-deck situation. Huge undertaking.
It sounds like it. And within all that, is there a particular group that's key?
There is. The research consistently points to the absolutely critical role of teachers.
Ah, the translators.
Exactly. You, the educators listening, you are the essential translators here. You're the ones who can take this complex AI stuff down from the clouds
Make it real.
and bring it into the classroom, make it tangible, understandable. You're the ones who can make it human for students. You can show them how AI connects to their lives, their futures,
Yeah.
and empower them to shape that future, not just be passively shaped by it.
That's a powerful role. And maybe thinking about it, that's the biggest takeaway from our whole deep dive today.
What's that?
That AI literacy, it isn't really about learning how to become a machine or even just how to operate one better. It's about learning how to stay human, how to empower our humanity in a world that's getting fuller and fuller of machines.
Cultivating that critical thinking, the ethics, the creativity.
Yeah, the things that make us human. That's what we need to navigate this new era. Thanks for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe to the AI Literacy Podcast.